perform in millions of homes worldwide, including yours. Picture your own personal housekeeper. Washes, folds, and puts away your laundry, cleans your house, makes you coffee in the morning, lets out the cats, warms up your car in the winter, takes out the garbage, vacuums, mops the floor, cleans the john. So it sounds like a luxury that only millionaires could afford, but you'd be wrong. Optimus is designed for everyday people for less than the price of a used rundown car, and about a tenth of what it would cost to hire out all of those individual services. Now, what makes Optimus so revolutionary is not its little 9 servo hands or its full day battery charge or even its used car price tag. The most important piece of Optimus is the small component hidden inside the lower left side of his chest, exactly here. You could call it their heart, the one component that will change the day-to-day lives of regular people for the next century and beyond. It's definitely more practical and profitable than sending a rocket ship to Mars, more revolutionary than providing satellite internet service. And it's predicted to dwarf the sales of Tesla cars in units and dollars. In a relatively short time, I predict Optimus will be in tens of millions of homes, the same way Alexa or Netflix is right now. But again, the real moneymaker is in the technology itself, the heart hidden within Optimus. I believe investing in this single technology could make any average American filthy rich. It's a secret backdoor investment into this new tech, and anyone can get in on the ground floor for a surprisingly tiny investment, about 38 cents at the moment. What kind of money are we talking about? Okay, well, think of it like this. If you had the chance to have a redo on Tesla from the very beginning, would you take it? Consider that Tesla started at a buck 13 per share, and it soared to a peak of $371. So that's nearly a 33,000% gain, enough to turn every $5,000 into 1.6 million. And yet, that's most likely small potatoes compared to the technology inside Optimus. Forbes says companies will thrive or wither depending on whether they realize this potential. Bloomberg calls it a revolution embedded everywhere. Investors Business Daily says, in business, this is what the future holds. And the Wall Street Journal says this technology, it will save the economy. And this is all high praise for sure. But if you're a skeptic like me, you want to see the numbers. You want to see how and why any average person can get rich off of a 38-cent investment. Well, raw technology inside the heart of Optimus is currently valued at $136 billion globally. But according to Price Waterhouse, one of the biggest accounting firms in the world, this industry is projected to grow by more than 100 times by 2030, becoming bigger than the entire construction industry, and adding healthcare, finance, and retail combined. As with every technology, the real money is made in the parts and pieces that go into it. So let's take the iPhone, for example. When sales were beginning to boom, a few engineers immediately tore them apart to see who was supplying the critical tech. The thought was, sure, Apple stock's going to do really well, but it was already a very expensive stock. But see, the companies making the parts are much smaller, so they have a lot more upside. I'm talking about the makers of optical components, radio frequency chips, flash memory, the little guts and pieces inside the thing. And they were onto something pretty big. Chip makers for the iPhone, for example, they had leapfrogged Apple's stock performance. While Apple went up 56%, Micron was up 503%. That's almost 9 times the return during the same period. While Apple went up 116%, Skyworks soared by 387%. That's over 3 times the return of Apple. And while Apple went up 303%, Synaptics skyrocketed an astounding 904%, almost 3 times what Apple did. Today, this exact same scenario is forming. In fact, the industry underlying the unique technology inside Optimus is now projected to add a massive $15.7 trillion to the global economy in just a few years, a market more than 70 times larger than the iPhone, even dwarfing all of Apple's products combined. And at the same time, we're not talking about stocks trading for $5, $21, and $26. We're talking about tiny, minuscule companies that you can get a piece of for as little as 38 cents, and some less than a penny and a half. We're talking about a starting point way lower with plays that are smaller and much more affordable. Companies with a lower floor and a much higher ceiling. I'm talking profit potential as much as 100 times higher than what we've ever seen before. So if you're open for a little adventure, a tiny stake could hand you an outsized gain, all because of what's under the hood of Optimus. And there's only one way to invest in this technology directly. It's by getting a piece of UAI, or what I call ubiquitous artificial intelligence. And I'll get more into the technical details in a minute, but first, let me walk you through the name. Now, it's called ubiquitous because it's not just a single function AI, but it's everywhere, everything, all at once. It runs in the background and you never even know it's there. The best way to make money on this is not by buying into an AI company. Think of this investment like buying into a toll booth. And just like a toll booth, the more tolls paid, the more you could stand to make. Imagine the benefit for millions, then billions of transactions every day, and then every second. And you can instantly realize the potential that I'm talking about. For example, let's say a robot like Optimus is running on UAI. You tell it to sweep up your garage, and your command creates a toll. You tell it to do the dishes, your command creates a toll. You have it start your car, your command creates a toll. Now multiply that by imagining millions of robots doing 10, 20, 50 tasks a day. With this toll booth investment I'm going to show you today, you can get a piece of the action on every single one of those tasks. I'm talking about potentially billions of transactions, and that adds up fast. This UAI technology will eventually be everywhere. Take an AI voice assistant like Apple's Siri. Ask for directions to the nearest Target. Request creates a toll. Ask for the morning's traffic report for your daily commute or the day's weather. The request creates a toll. Now imagine millions of people asking Siri for directions or reminding them about a dentist appointment or finding a restaurant or all of the thousands upon thousands of other things that Siri can do. And then multiply that by millions of people using it. With this toll booth investment, you'd get an incremental piece of all of that action. And with millions of transactions, those incremental pieces add up fast. Opportunities for you collecting a piece of that are endless. Take a search engine like Google. Millions of searches every few minutes, maybe even every few seconds. Every time someone types in a search term, your profit potential goes up. And that's a lot of tiny tolls being paid, right? Let's take it a step further. Because what makes UAI so incredible is every 6 months, it doubles in power. A year from now, today's UAI is going to be 4 times smarter. That means it can do more things. Say your version of Optimus could sweep your garage, mow your lawn in a day. With UAI, it can now sweep your garage, mow your lawn, clean your gutters, reorganize your closet, and cook you breakfast, lunch, and dinner all in the same day. 4 times more things, 4 times more tolls. 2 years from now, it will be 16 times smarter. 16 times more things, 16 times more tolls. 3 years from now, it's going to be 64 times smarter than it currently is today. 64 times more things equals 64 times more tolls. It's an exponential growth curve. And companies in this industry are projected to make trillions in the next 5 to 7 years as this growth curve accelerates. Those profits will get passed down to investors like you and me. So to ignore the potential to your financial future is like walking away from a jackpot of tolls. But I believe the biggest gains are going to come from tiny UAI companies that you've never even heard before. And these tiny UAI companies are going to be the future of big tech all around the globe. What we're going to witness is a complete sea change of who will be at the top of the Fortune 500. Because these tiny companies will soon have a huge advantage over the standard AI from Google and others. Stacking this brand new technology on top of the current narrow AI, a technology that's going to act as the rails to the masses. A simple explanation is it's similar to the way e-commerce works. You can't order shaving cream on Amazon without the rails of the internet. In other words, the rails are the distribution system, how the UAI will be used by millions of users. As a result of this new UAI, this technology is going to cut our dependence on big tech. Because this new UAI, it works faster and it can access more raw computing power than the big boys. And get this, it keeps our information far more secure. In fact, the new rails of UAI have never been hacked. A board member of PayPal heard about this new technology and he was so intrigued, he paid not one but two security teams $500,000 to hack it. 6 months later, both teams came back with the same report: impossible to hack. And that's critical. As sick as we are of big tech letting our personal data get stolen from right underneath their noses, having impenetrable security is a huge relief. This new technology that forms the rails of UAI is just what we need: opportunity. Standard AI, like Google's DeepMind, is very powerful, but they can't talk to IBM's Watson or Amazon's Cloud AI. But UAI is completely different. And without getting into the weeds and techno battle, I'll try to make this simple. UAI programs are called agents, and each agent is very skilled at one specific task. But what gives UAI the advantage is that these agents can talk to each other in real time. It puts all of these UAI agents into a network so they can all talk with one another, they can learn from each other, they can assign tasks to each agent. A tiny monetary microtransaction occurs. So as these networks of UAI agents do their work, millions of these tiny transactions can occur every hour. And with these toll booth UAI companies, anyone can participate in these transactions. The best part is, not very many investors are even looking at them right now. So they're dirt cheap. In fact, right now, I believe a quick 400 to 500 insider in the fastest changing innovative technology of our lifetimes. My name is Nick Black. I stumbled into this new UAI technology not because I know Elon Musk. I don't know him. I do know some of the top minds making it a reality. And here's the cool part. This new technology behind UAI is making ordinary Americans very wealthy. Like former software engineer Kevin Ackerman of San Francisco for IBM. For 4 years, Osher dealt with stiff quotas and stuck to the 9 to 5 grind. In about a year, his portfolio gained a massive 10,900, rocketing his investments to $4.1 million. Or John Erickson of Billings, Montana. As a teenager, Erickson hated school. His teachers told him, literally to his face, that he would end up flipping burgers at McDonald's. Erickson took a $1,000 gift from his grandmother and he plunked it into one of these investments. And while everyone thought Erickson wouldn't amount to anything, he became a millionaire before he was 18. He even splurged on an Audi R8 coupe for $170,000. I could go on and on with examples, me included. I managed to boost my entire net worth, not just my portfolio, by 6,230% between 2016 and mid-2022. All because I've been on the forefront of this new technology. Listen, I'm sure you've probably got a good idea of what your net worth is. How much different would your life be if it was 62 times bigger? Fact is, I'm nowhere near done building mine, and I'm guessing that you're not